and welcome to the Artist Behind the Music Aussie series. Today we have Max Jackson joining us. Welcome, Max.
Thanks, Crystal. Hi, it's so good to be here.
Yeah, so good to have a fellow pink hair twin from the other side of the
Woo-hoo.
world. Woo!
Look at us, taking on the world.
I love it. I love it. The power of pink. I swear there's some truth in that.
There really is. We were just talking before, weren't we, about how we feel like we can take on the world with pink hair.
That's right. That's right. It's the new Batman. That's awesome. Well, let's kind of dive into what got you started in music and how long you've been doing music and when you decided to pursue it professionally.
Yeah, of course. So I'm from a really small country town in Australia called Coonamble. Pretty much, I think there was probably more dogs and cows and horses than people where I grew up. And the most exciting thing to happen every couple of months or so would be one of the really big famous Australian country artists coming to town. And my parents are not musical, but love music and took me to pretty much every single show that they could possibly take me to. And I was the little girl in the front row looking up thinking, I just want that to be me. And I don't know why I was drawn to it, but I just was, and started to sing, started to write songs, play the guitar. And from pretty much that age, that's all I've ever aimed to do. I did a couple of things just so I could save money, so I could save up for a new guitar or save up to go to this music festival or whatever it is. But I've pretty much been tunnel vision since I was a little girl, that I just wanted to sing, write songs, play guitar, and share stories.
Oh, that's so great. I love it when it's just kind of embedded in you, right? It's just, this is who I am and I'm going to follow this dream. When did
Yeah.
you release your first commercial recording?
So, well, I've kind of recorded and released a lot of things throughout my life. I guess probably I remember I wrote my first song when I was 13, and I think I recorded that and just kind of handed it out on CDs to my friends and my family, and they all still have it and they all still play it to me, and it's very embarrassing. But then kind of releasing commercially, I guess I recorded a few songs and released them when I was about 18 years old. They don't even exist anymore. It's just one of those things where it's like put music out and then I don't even know what happened to them, to be honest. They're just not there anymore.
Too. It's just
Yeah.
disappeared. I
Yeah.
have no idea where it is.
I don't even know. I don't even have them, to be honest with you. Some people have them, but anyway, that was fun. And then now I've just released my debut kind of proper album this year, the 7th of February. It came out and it's called Life of the Party. And it's been a long time coming. I've pretty much been writing songs for at least 6 years towards that release.
I love the title of the album, Life of the Party. What inspired the name of the album?
The inspiration was a song on the album called Life of the Party, and it's actually about my constant struggle throughout my life with anxiety, and it's kind of sharing with social anxiety, to be specific. And it's kind of crazy to think that you would have social anxiety or live with social anxiety and then choose to be on stage. So I felt it was only right to write a song about that and share that on my album, because I just know that there's so many people out there who struggle with anxiety, whether it be what I feel or other kind of branches, I guess, of that feeling. But I wanted to really just put that out there, title my album it, and make sure that people out there know that, you can live with those kind of things and you can still do the things that you love. So that was my hope for the album.
Oh, that's a beautiful message. What are some ways that you use tools to deal and cope with having anxiety?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And some of them are things I do myself, and some of them are things that I go and see people for, obviously. So I do heaps of breathing exercises, and I try to just calm myself by listening to music that I love. Sometimes my actual thing that I go to whenever I'm super anxious or stressing out is I lay on the floor and I listen to an album I love. And a lot of the time it's actually the Casey Musgraves album that I lay on the floor, because I feel like it's really it's it surrounds you, the sound. And I feel like that really grounds me and brings me back down to earth. I also do acupuncture, things like that, just to kind of bring my nervous system back a little bit, because I'm all the time. Yeah, so lots of different things like that, and also positive affirmations, because I know like a lot of my anxiety is kind of me saying in my head, or this is, you're not going to be good at this, or it's, this is stressful, and then it kind of plays over and over. So I try to change that and wake up in the morning and say out loud, today's going to be a great day. You're going to be fine. You're going to be great. Things like that.
It's so cute and so needed. It's so important we do things like that because we have those embedded belief systems in us, right? From childhood or, something that happened last week or whatever, just telling us, oh, you shouldn't do that because you're not good enough. And I think that's
Mhm.
something that every single human struggles with, but especially in the entertainment industry, I think it's huge because we're really being vulnerable to expose our weaknesses to a crowd of people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're opening our hearts and we're sharing our kind of deepest secrets and truths. Well, I know some of us are.
Yeah.
And yeah, really getting to the heart of the matter. And I think that can be really stressful and really liberating and really healing at the same time. So I feel like that's my journey, is walking on stage is like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this again. I'm putting myself in this situation. Walking off stage is like, you did it, you can do it again.
Yeah. And just remembering that feeling too, right? Just bringing that feeling of, you did it. I got this.
Yeah,
I can do it again.
absolutely.
Yeah. So not only do you have your solo project, but you also play guitar for other projects. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and what
Yeah,
it looks like?
absolutely. So I guess this story kind of, it ties into my own story, because back in 2009, I entered a little competition not far from my house, and I was never a competition kind of person. Didn't really do the talent questy things because of anxiety. So didn't really do that. But there was this competition happening not far from my house, and one of my greatest inspirations and idols was a judge, and that was Gina Jeffreys. And she's pretty much country music royalty here in Australia, and I think she was the first woman in country music to sell platinum in Australia. So
Yeah.
I looked up to her and I just thought, oh my gosh, she is just so beautiful, and came across as being just the nicest person ever on stage, and I just loved her. So she was a judge. And so I thought, you know what? I really want to go in this because I just want to meet Gina. That was pretty much my whole point of going there, was just to be able to say hi. And I was actually lucky enough to win that competition. And in that competition, I got to have a full day of mentoring from Gina. And also I won a recording with my now producer, Rod McCormack, who's Gina's husband. And look, from that day, I have never looked back. We just hit it off, and I call them my musical family. And I basically lived with them kind of for over 3 or 4 years. I was living half time with my parents and half time with them working. And it's one of those weird kind of like country hillbilly music families, and we love it. So basically now I play acoustic guitar and I sing harmonies in Gina Jeffreys' band on her Beautiful Tangle tour. And we've been all over Australia, which has been such an amazing experience, actually getting out and meeting people and shaking their hands, and just seeing, I guess, looking at Gina's career and how, I guess, she's really, really personal with her audience. And they've loved her for a really long time, and it's amazing to see when they come out to her shows the connection that they have with her. And that's really inspired me to be really personal and really one-on-one with people as much as I possibly can, because I can see how much Gina's music has changed their life and how much their connection with Gina has changed Gina's life too. So I really love seeing that and being a part of her band.
That's so cool. I love that story. It's a huge thing to talk about, going out and doing something, even if you have anxiety, even if you're so scared and feel like you can't move through
Mhm.
it, because we never know when we put ourselves out there what opportunities are going to come from that. And if you never
Mhm.
went to that competition, you never
Mhm.
likely would have met her in that kind of situation. Maybe you would have crossed paths in the future, but it's just so cool, like how when you do things that you're really scared of, that's
Mhm.
usually when the best things happen.
I totally agree. And I think back to that night, and I don't think I realized at the time. I just thought, I'm going to go and meet Gina and that's going to be really cool. But I don't think I realized how much that would change the course of my life, because they're such a big part of my life and my career and what I'm doing now. And I can very safely say that I wouldn't have done any of the things that I've done without them, because they really are my team and my family, and have supported me and encouraged me so much through that. Whenever I've had, that negative voice in my mind that says, can I do this? They're like, you can do this, and really, really helped me through. So I'm really grateful for that time. And it's funny you say, go push through the anxiety. I remember on the night that we were going to the competition, there was a really big storm on the freeway, and I was laying, I don't know why, but I'm really freaked out by storms in the car as well. So I was laying on the back seat of the car crying, thinking, I don't even know if I'm going to get to this thing. I've decided to do this thing, and now it's storming and I'm having a panic attack on the back seat of the car. Got there, got up, pushed through, changed my life. So I'm so glad.
Yeah, and just like even just saying that story, like it's so normal to have these anxious feelings. And I think we need to talk about these things as much as we can, because I want people to know that it's normal to feel like you're having an anxiety attack. Like, it's okay if you are, because when we talk about it, it diminishes that scary factor in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah. It's not like, and when I say normal, I just mean just normalizing the fact that we all have anxiety to some form or another, right? It gets
Yes,
a real
definitely.
feeling. So
Yeah.
I love having these kind of conversations just to remind people watching that it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Crystal, you do so much work with people in those areas, and encouraging and inspiring people too. I was checking out your website, and there was so many things on there. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be a part of that thing and that thing and that thing and that thing. So it's really nice to speak to someone who, I guess, has that same mentality of like, let's do this music thing, but let's also really have a reason behind doing it. For me, it's like, what is the point in releasing a song for 3 minutes if it doesn't mean anything or it doesn't do anything for somebody? There's no point for me. So it's all about, I guess, making people feel less alone and sharing in, I guess, my struggles or my wins or whatever it is, so that people out there feel like they can do it too.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that. There's a bigger thing than just singing or just
Yeah.
performing a song. There's a message of love behind it, for it sounds like both of us, which is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Where do you pull most of your inspiration from when you're writing? Is it your own personal stories, or is it things that you witness, or does it change every time?
It really does change. A lot of it's for me, for my own music, it's just personal experience. I sometimes write my songs in the third person, so it sounds like it's about somebody else, but most of the time it's about me. I do that with the songs that are about the worst parts about me.
Yes.
So yeah, for myself, it's a lot just about my story or whatever I'm going through at that time. I basically just use my songwriting like a bit of a diary, and just write from personal experience whatever's happening. And then I also write for a lot of other people for their albums, and I've been really lucky to have songs that people have released and they've done really well, and that's an exciting thing as well. And I love that side of songwriting, because you get to sit down just like we are now, have a chat with someone about what's going on in their life. And I find the best songs are always the ones where they say something's going on in their life, and maybe you've experienced something too, and you have that common ground, and then write from that place. So yeah, I love doing that creative side too, and writing for other people.
Yeah, isn't that so true? There's something that's so connective with writing music with other people. It's like you sit down and all of a sudden you just, well, here's my story.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
unload
It
it,
really
right?
is just like bearing everything and saying, this is what's going on in my life, whether it be great or whether it be terrible.
Yeah.
And just being open and sharing that. And I feel like when we are open and real and honest, that's when we do definitely get the best songs.
For sure, absolutely. So you released your album earlier this year, February 2020. And how did you find releasing that and then having the whole world shift? How'd you cope
Oh,
with that?
I knew this question would definitely be coming, and it has been absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It's been so up and down. And I remember, I think we all went through, I guess, little phases, didn't we? Like at first it was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I remember I just spent a whole lot of time sitting on my couch, just looking around my apartment and thinking, is this where I'm stuck for, a long time? How long am I stuck here? my partner and I, Jeremy, my partner, is a guitarist and plays in a touring band as well. And I think before COVID, we hadn't been home the same weekend for about 15 weeks. So
Right.
he was away or I was away. So we were just gone all the time. And we live in a studio apartment. And then we were like, we bought this apartment because we tour. Now we're stuck here. And it was madness at first. And then look, it was actually really nice to have a little break as well, just to kind of, I felt like my whole soul I feel like I maybe added 10 years to my life in that time, because everything was so crazy before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice to just chill out for a little bit. And then obviously it was just scary to think, well, what's happening? And I guess my favorite part of releasing the album is definitely getting out and playing it live. So we also went through that uncertainty, didn't we, of, what do we do now? But I actually channeled my energy in that time into doing reimagined versions of songs from the album. So we actually it was kind of cool when we got out to play before COVID, to see a lot of people would come up to me after the show and say, oh, I really hoped you would have sang this song from the album and it wouldn't have been a single. And there was kind of a few songs that just kept coming up all the time that people would say, oh, I was really hoping you would play Bad Idea, or I was really hoping you'd play Song Girl, because they're my favorites. So we decided, you know what, let's be creative in this time and I guess send something positive out into people's living rooms. And that was really positive and such a nice way to stay connected to people and just to feel like, we have a bit of purpose in this time where we couldn't do a whole lot of anything. So that was nice. And I went through the phase, I don't know if you can see here, of crocheting.
Yes, I was gonna ask. Did you make that?
Yeah, I crocheted this tiny little love heart that hangs from
Amazing.
that's the only thing I've ever made, because I got sick of it after that. So that's definitely not my calling. It's definitely music.
Hey, we gotta try new things. It's important.
I think we all got a little crafty at the beginning of COVID, didn't we? And
I
then
think
some
so.
people are probably still crafty and some people are probably not, like me.
I like to try to be crafty, but I really just can't focus on things for a long enough time. Like I painted this giant picture and it's just like super abstract. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put gold flecks and sparkles and this and that
Yeah.
on it. And I just stopped and I'm like, nah, I'm done. And then we
Well,
hung it on the wall and it's just art on the wall and it's unfinished.
I
So I'm
love that though,
reminded
but
every day, I'm like, oh, I should do that.
maybe unfinished is perfect. Maybe that's like the most artistic part about it, right?
Exactly. I'll just start a gallery, the unfinished works of Crystal McGrath.
Oh my gosh, imagine if I had a gallery for my crochet. It would just be a huge room with that tiny little, it's like supposed to be a handbag, but it doesn't even work as that.
It's like boutique to its finest, right? I just see
Yeah.
that like in a New York gallery, right? Just white wall, huge
With
space.
I could hang it on the wall and you could just flick paint across it and that would
That
sell.
would be art.
That would
Okay,
sell.
coming soon to a gallery near you. Oh, I love it. Well, I'd love to hear you play if you're ready to
Of
sing
course.
soon.
I'm going to grab my guitar that is about 2 steps that way.
Go for it.
So I was joking before that I even ironed my shirt and changed my strings for today. So that's really fancy.
I feel very lucky and honored.
So I thought what I would do today is play kind of one of the songs that we reimagined and then just play something that I just love playing that is an original as well. So I might start with Bad Idea because it's one of my favorite songs to play live, and we reimagined it recently, and that was kind of such a positive moment to just share something really positive into people's homes, and a lot of people loved it, and that was fantastic.
Oh, good.
All right. Confidence, arrogance, either way, I'm a mess. Whenever I see that smile, silly girl, no control, falling for someone I know, comes with a warning inside. Oh, here we go. Oh no. Oh, I can't stop this feeling. I might as well jump in head first. How that you take me wherever you want. I'll live and learn. So bring your words, bring it here. Be my best bad idea. I know them all, everyone, the reasons why I should run, but I don't really care. And I should choose to play it safe, but safe is so overrated. So I'm gonna stay right here. Oh, here we go. Oh no. Oh. I can't stop this feeling. I might as well jump in head first. How that you take me wherever you want. I'll live and learn. So bring your worst, bring it here. Be my best bad idea. The one that I can't get enough of. The one that I'll never regret. Yeah, I can't stop this feeling. Watch me jump in head first. I'll let you take me wherever you want. I'll live and learn, stupid girl. You know you'll never learn. So bring your words, bring it here. Be my best bad idea. Bring it here. Be my best bad idea. Woo!
Oh, I like that. That's a beautiful song.
Oh,
So
thank
great.
you. Actually, I wrote that song about my fiance now and I. When we first got together, a bunch of girls at school kind of told me that it was a really bad idea and that they didn't think that he was very good for me because he was a bit of a rock star back in school days. And you know what? I think now, looking back, that maybe one of them liked him too, because actually he's the best bad idea I've ever had.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. No, it's a great, great song. And I love that play on words, like you're the best bad idea.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to write, actually. It was one of the first songs that I wrote for the album with one of my really good friends, Kathy Majeski in Nashville. She's one of my most favorite people in the entire world to write songs with. And we wrote heaps of songs for my album. And we just, when things just work, it just works with someone and we just bounce off each other. And she is just the most amazing songwriter. So I'm very grateful for her and very grateful for the songs that we've written together.
Oh, amazing. That's beautiful.
Thanks. Thank you. Do you want me to do a second song?
Yeah, I would love that.
So pretty much, I wanted to do this song because I spoke before about how defining it is for me and how much I guess it shares my story, and that's life of the party. I'm really proud of what this song's done. It's, when we've been out on tour, I've had people come up to me with shaking hands and say, that they feel like I told their story and they feel a little bit less alone. So I thought, you know what, that was my one hope for the album. And I feel like that has been successful. So I love this song and I love singing it. And I wrote this with my friend Jay Knowles in Nashville as well, another amazing friend and songwriter. I I don't wanna dress up, 'cause if I dress up and then I show up and no one else is dressed up, when I walk in, everyone's gonna know that I'm here. And what if he's there, and worse, what if she's there? If I act like I don't care, will they think I do care? Maybe I'll just stand there and do my best to just disappear. 'Cause I'd rather die than be the life of the party. I'd rather stay home alone, if that's alright. But I'm gonna smile and be so half-hearted. I'll be the life of the party tonight. Now I love to sing, but see, here's the thing, they'll ask me to sing and I don't wanna sing, especially not if I have to in front of everyone. Ironic, right? And see, I hate to dance, they'll all wanna dance and they'll grab me by the hand and force me to dance. And what happens if I accidentally actually have fun? 'Cause I'd rather die than be the life of the party. I'd rather stay home alone, if that's alright. I'm gonna smile and be so half-hearted. I'll be the life of the party tonight. Can I just show up a few hours late and let somebody else blow out the candles on the cake? 'Cause I'd rather die than be the life of the party. I'd rather stay home alone, if that's alright, yeah. But I'm gonna smile and be so half-hearted. I'll be the life of the party tonight. So watch me smile and be the life of the party, and I'll die on the inside tonight.
Yeah.
Whole lot of sarcasm.
I love that, Sassy. You've got such a beautiful voice and great tone. I love how it just jumps to that higher register just seamlessly.
Oh, thank you, Crystal. Thank you. Wow. Well, it's like 9 a.m. here, so I'm trying really hard to keep it together.
It's like a morning show, breakfast television.
Well, thank you very much, because you boosted my confidence, because I was like, ooh, what was that little high note?
Oh no, we're our own worst critics too, right? It's like the things we hear in our minds are not even close to what the external world hears, right?
And at the end of the day, you know what? I love these kind of things, because I guess people get like an insight into what it sounds like when you write a song, because it doesn't have all of the other stuff. It's just the lyrics, it's just the melody, and maybe a guitar or whatever instrument you play. And I think there's something so raw about it. And you know what? Like for me, I love hearing people sing an out of tune note or singing like something that's off, because it's like, you know what? That's real. We're not robots. We're not made to be auto-tuned our entire lives. We are made to be human, and we're sharing human stories. And I think that there's something really just raw and awesome about that. So that's why I've loved listening to people play like this as well.
I agree. And that's why I love doing these things. It just strips everything down, and mistakes are allowed. Like you said it, we're not robots. I remember being at a songwriter circle and a country band, a duo, they were playing, and I looked up to them. They're such an amazing band. And I just remember they forgot half their song in the songwriter circle. And I remember being in the audience thinking, oh, that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
not one part of my mind went, oh, they suck. They're awful. Why didn't they practice?
Yeah.
All that went through my head was they're real people too. Like
Yeah,
they're just like me. Just connected that feeling
exactly.
of it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, I had a similar experience to that actually. Someone that I look up to and admire and think is just a legend of our generation is John Mayer. And I think like just one of the best songwriters and singers and just all round musicians that I've ever personally had, the opportunity of seeing live. And there was this time where it actually wasn't kind of him that made like a mistake. And I don't even know if it was planned or what it was, but they kind of changed their set list every night, which I love, by the way, because I think, so many tours and shows that we see are so rehearsed down to like
Program.
the tiny details. But they changed their set every night. So there was a song, right? And he's like, oh, let's do this. And just changed his mind kind of at the last minute. And the drummer went to play and they kind of started in this weird feel. And then John was like, hold up, hold up, hold up. We're in the wrong feel. We need to start again. So they just stopped everything. He went over to the drummer and he was kind of like air drumming to him and was like, it needs to be kind of like this. Let's change it up a little bit. And they just did it again. And it was like so cool just to see people being real and collaborating and being musical like that. Because like sometimes things start and they might not feel how they're supposed to feel. And it's like most people, like, I don't know if I would probably just go with it and think, oh my gosh, I can't stop and start again. But to see John Mayer to be like, hang on,
Nope.
we need to get this together. That
I
was so
know.
inspiring.
It takes a lot of courage to do that and to take ownership of knowing, nope, this isn't working. Let's start again. Like let that just give you permission to start and stop if you ever need to.
Exactly. And that was in a stadium of like 20,000 people or something. And I was like, this is human and this is musical and this is collaborative. And I love it.
Oh, I love that story. That's a great one too. Well, I could just chat with you all day, but I always love to end these conversations with the question, if you had one message to share with the world, what would that be?
Oh, wow. I would say that the quirky things and the things that make you different are the things that give you your power, pretty much. So, whatever feels like, I always think, through school, there's always times where you think, oh, I don't look like that person, or I don't sound like that person, or I don't do things, I can't run as fast as that person. We all have our things that make us so unique and so beautiful. And they are the things that, I guess, as a musician, they're the things that our audience is going to love about us, the quirks, the different things. But in life, they're just the things that your true friends are going to love you so much for. So I would just say 100% be yourself down to all the quirky little pieces.
Yes, I love that. Be your unique self. That's well said and very beautiful. Well, I've just loved having you on the show, chatting with you and hearing your beautiful songs. Thank you so much for being on the show. Max Jackson on the artist behind the music.
Thank you so much, Crystal. I've had the best time chatting to you. Thanks for having me.
You bet.